So isn't it amazing that today's Groundhog Day, for God's sakes? It's Groundhog Day. And I don't plan any of these things, right? It's just amazing. So why is that amazing? Because that is our life. Let's get real. Let's get loud. Let's get honest. Most people are living freaking Groundhog Day. It's not just Bill Murray. It's everyone thinking the same thing that they thought yesterday, feeling the same way, and the same thing is the same result. And it's over and over and over and over and over and over. And I just posted today, I was just like, here's the deal. Like, it's so amazing how we resist, and we resist when it's already done. It's already here. What's the difference between Will Smith and the guy next door? What's the difference between Lady Gaga and Joe Schmo? Claiming it. That's the whole difference. That's the difference. That's the difference. We literally, it's like we're walking around with glasses on, except there's schmutz and like mud and you see nothing. And so you're just like living in this reality, and you're just like, well, this is all there is. And so this is all I get. And nobody likes it, and I'll never have it. And it's just like, we got to change the lenses. It has to change. It has to change. Like, people get so triggered. I said this yesterday. People get so triggered around money because the resistance around money, it feels so real. Scarcity feels like reality. People will be like, the reality is, and then they're just like, it's not there. There's so much lack. Nobody can buy it. Nobody. It's just like, okay, say it. Say it as many times as you want. It doesn't make it true. Thoughts are not facts. I know that's great. Like, thoughts are not fact. Where's the fake news police on your thoughts? Like, just because you think it doesn't make it true, does it? Like, what is that mirage? Thoughts aren't facts is the thing. So the fact actually is that it's all here. It's all done. The clients are there already. The money is there already. So like, when we say, I said this yesterday, like, so many people, we've just done this beautiful workshop, and so many people already have the clarity around, I want to do this thing, right? Like, of course I want to do this. I want to feel good. I want to be around all those incredible women. I want to hang out with Martha Beck. Of course I know I want to do that, right? So you're not having to make a decision about what you want to, you're having to make a decision around, what world do I live in? Do I live in a world where I can step into reality that is, oh my God, there's so much more. Like Gail Keys Allen said yesterday, I made 50 grand last month in 10 days. She's been making money now. She quit her job months ago, right? Providing for her daughter and her grandson months ago, right? This is not like, yes, this past month was a big month, but like, she's been doing it. She's been living it. Tell me what this woman, what leg up did she have that you don't have? I want to know what it is. Like, she's 65. She had a brain tumor. Her parents died. She was left by her husband. She's taking care of her daughter. Her grandson has a disability. Where is it? I'm just curious. Like, I'm looking through, like, auditing, like, where's the leg up? Like, where was it? Like, where was that extra? Well, but she had this, that, she had that, she had that, she had that. No, she decided to receive abundance. She's like, Kath, I now charge $10,000 for people to work with me. You could all do that in the next 90 days. You could do that next 9 days. It's the energy. Like, you claim it, there'll be a buyer for that price. I know you don't believe it, but here's the thing. You've never tried it. So you really don't know. You just think you know, because you look at evidence of people and you go, all their life, they're just never. It's like, yeah, they live in resistance. They get back resistance, right? It's an energy. Notice, somebody said this yesterday, like, I love how you like never wind up selling anything. And I'm like, because you don't ever sell, ever. What we think of as sales is pushing someone, convincing someone, get your pitch, get it out, go for it. And it's like whack-a-mole, whack down all the things, beat it, impress them, convince them, move them. No, you just do it every day. Your energy's doing it every single day. You know when I'm selling? Every single second I'm not selling, I'm selling. Every single time I show up on Instagram, every single time I release a podcast, every single time I'm dancing on the screen, every single day, every single second. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's in the energy of it. It's in the energy of it. And then you can slap any figure on it. You can slap any figure on it. It's like, there's a match. There it is. There she is. There's the match. There she is. You're sitting on it. You can keep sitting on it as long as you want. You can keep choosing it. Colleen and I were just talking about this. What were your dreams January of last year? What were your dreams January of last year? What did you want to change? What did you want? What did you want to be different? What kind of feeling did you want to feel? And how did it go? What changed? What was different? Colleen, I want to unmute you because you were all fired up. We were talking about this 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we were. It's so interesting because sometimes we won't fully claim our dreams or acknowledge them to ourselves because we cut that off before we even lean into it because we're so afraid of us not showing up and making that our world and creating it. And then I think as well, sometimes we shy away from wanting to look at what didn't materialize because it doesn't feel so good when we realize we're on Groundhog Day yet again. And it's important for us to be uncomfortable though and be willing and open to look at that, because unless we accept where we are, we cannot move into a new place, and we need to allow it and accept it and then realize how freaking empowered we are to choose a new way forward.
Yeah. And I just keep coming back to this clarity, which is you do not attract what you want. You can have a wish list for Santa all day long. Nothing's going to change. It does not work that way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't work that way. That's not how it is. You know it, you feel it, you've lived it, you've lived it, you've lived it, you've lived it over and over again. We attract what we are. We create what we are. So there's what Colleen's saying is, so what are we? What's in the energetic? What's in the field? Don't think that you can want 5 million bucks by the end of the year, and you can want a sense of impact, and you can want to be publishing your book and opening your store on Main Street, when what's in here is no one's going to buy it. I don't think that I'm worth it. I just want it so bad. I just want it so bad. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Meghan Trainor is not a size 0. Nobody cared. Moved aside. C-split. Didn't matter. She's like, what's up? You're so lucky I just walked in this room. Let's go. Right? Adele, like, watch this woman for 5 seconds. She's just like in her own reality. And she's like, oh, you want to come up here for a second? Breathe the air up here? Enjoy it. Peace. Right? She is it. She's not trying to want for anything. What did you say to me 5 minutes ago, Colleen, about somebody else turning on the lights?
Yeah, we spend most of our days without realizing it, thinking someone else is going to turn the light switch on. Something around us, something in our world is going to change. Some circumstance will be different. We think this is, we're not going to have this other thing on the go, or this one, and it's like, no one's coming. No one's coming to turn your light switch on for you. Like, you're the one who's going to get up off the couch and you're going to go turn it on. And it's going to feel like, I don't think I can get to that light switch. But like Cathy just said, the C parts because you walk into the room. C didn't part initially. You had to start walking, and then the C parts. right? And that's the thing. We just sit there and we're like, nope, not yet. It's just going to change. No, it's not going to change unless you change, right? Unless your whole inner being changes, because everything is energy. Every sale you make really has nothing to do with what you're selling. Doesn't mean it's not important and beautiful and impactful, but it's nothing. It's all energy. That's all people are ever exchanging on and drawn to and wanting in. And that's why we keep coming back to it. As much as it sounds so weird and intangible, we're like, you can go hire a copywriter and they can be the most talented conversion copywriter ever. And you can try and sell your thing and make $0 and be like, what just happened? It's because it's your energy. It's not words. It's the energy that you bring. And it's people feel it, whether they're aware of it or not aware of it. They feel it.
So let's do an experiment right now. Whatever it is that you do, if you have any kind of income, whether you work for someone else or you work for yourself, if you do a service, if you have a product, whatever it is that you do, if you do something in exchange for money, and if you don't, you can play with this too. Right now, as it is on February 2nd, what do you currently exchange? Like if you, let's say, teach voice lessons, what do you charge for the lesson? If you right now sell candles, like what do you sell? What do you make? Like what is the rate in which you are paid? Just put it in the chat. Some of you might want to, if you work for someone, maybe you're like, I don't know how to quantify that. I make $65,000 a year. Whatever, however you want to share it, just put it in the chat. Okay, $100,000, $200 a day, $100,000, $250, $1,550 an hour, $100,000 a year, $90 an hour, $500 per sign up. Great, great, great. Keep going. $200, $67,000, $145 an hour, $220 a year. Thank you for sharing this. This is so fun. We can actually let's get into it. Okay, $140,000 a year, $35 a class, $27 an hour. Okay. Now, what do you want that to be? Like, what would be like, this make me feel like this is turning me on? Like what turns you, like what would be like the most electrifying, ooh, this would be like really good, but my heart starts to like race. Okay. 7 figures, 300K is what I want. 200,000 a year, 500,000 a year, 75,000 per month, 120,000 a year, 400,000 a year. Great. 150,000 a year. Great, 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 great. I love it. All right. So here we go. So this is what we have to do. Okay. It's like right now. Okay. If somebody were to tell you to name that price, however that would happen. So how would that have to happen? Well, depends on what you do, right? Maybe you would put it up on your website, like, this is my price. Maybe you would announce it live on something like this, or Instagram. Like maybe you would be asking, if you love where you work, like be asking your boss, like, this is the role I want and this is how much I want to make. However it has to happen, I'm just curious. If somebody were to say, great, so go do that, how do you feel? Let's be honest, because this will be so helpful. Because this is what I do, you guys. I can help you. So scared, nervous, clueless. Thank you for being honest. I can actually help people who are willing to help themselves. Okay. Scared, frozen, excited, jittery, want to vomit. Right. Okay. So it's too much. Fraudulent. Shocked. Yeah. If you have to say, right, when you get to that point with your buyer and like she's looked at like your packages for your wedding invitations that you make, and then instead of saying that they're $1,200, you have to say that they're $10,500, right? This is the move we're talking about. This is the gentle, classy, and so it is move, right? And this is what it is. And we're talking about it. And you're saying, that gap between how excited you are, wanting it so bad, and what's here, that's what we have to shrink. And all of that, it's not out here. It's in here. It's right here. It's all in here. It's changing. We got to change the energy that you are sitting in and the coordinates of where you sit, they are lit. And this is what's so amazing. I could show you this if we went to a place. I was at a museum last year that shows it, that there's places that will show you what the inside of the brain looks like and how every thought builds like 17 other thoughts. And then they build other thoughts from there. So it kind of looks like a tree. Have you guys ever seen this? There's like branches of thoughts and they all fire together. And then at the museum, if you pressed a button, it would show you which thought you were lighting up. And then within seconds, all the other ones would light up. And then it shows you how that creates a chemical that comes into the body, right? And then the body gets flooded with a feeling. And then we loop it and we loop it again, totally subconsciously. And then all day long, you're being entranced by it. You're thinking it and you're feeling it. And then it just gets hardwired. Like, this is reality. Don't move, because you'd be moving out of reality. That's why you feel sick. You're like, I can't. Like that. What am I doing? Like I'm reaching beyond like what's here, what exists, what's safe, all of that stuff. We can change that. We can change that. We can change that. So I want you to see right now, since all things are done, all things are possible. Let's just practice that for a second. Feel where your energy is right now, wherever it is. There's no judgment here. Oh, so what really is the energy of how much you could handle saying that you want to claim, right? Because some of those numbers you were like, that's not actually there. It's somewhere else. So what is it? Where is it? And where does that energy rise? Okay. And now notice, forget what you have to do for a second. It'll be there, I promise. You'll be obsessed with it right after we get off this call. But just for a second, ask a totally different question. How would I need to feel in my body? How would I need to be in my energy so that I could open my palms and receive and claim what I just said? And see if you can rise to meet that. And see if you can. I know it sounds so abstract, but we are abstract. So move with your actual real self, which is mostly a wave. Go look at DNA, go look at energy, go look at atoms, go look at molecules, go look at the body after we leave this session. We are mostly something that is actually more ethereal than it is physical. So when you move, right, start to move it. Now we just made this as a suggestion. What's it been 3 seconds? Keep going. And now try this. For your client, for the people you want to impact, for the audience that you were meant to be a stand for. Where do you need to hold for her? Where do you need to rise? Where do you need to be energetically for her to step into her highest and best? And how is you shrinking and feeling like you're going to vomit? How is that helping her? How is that supporting her in reaching a higher resonance? It's not. It's shrinking her. You're holding a ceiling of possibility, and your vibration keeps standing for it over and over and over again, helping bring that virtual reality into life for other people. What's the reality you want bouncing off of you in your energy? Now, again, go back. See if you can feel your real, true self. Rise. Move into resonance. Move into possibility. From this place, if I ask the question again, what amount can you claim from this place? Did it move at all? Tell me in the chat. Did it move at all? Yeah. That's the work. That's what we're doing for the next 5 months. That's why Gail made $50,000 last month in 10 days. It's not outside of her. It's in here. That's why it's completely irrelevant. All of it. When you're like, this is what I make, this is what I want to make. You could put any number there. And that's why it's irrelevant what the energy exchange, what the cost is. Like people are like, so many people have said to us, it's so clear, it's so obvious, this work that Cathy does, you can feel it. Like you can stress test it and it's truth. You can feel it. I can feel it. But I can't afford. I don't know how. It's not possible. It's not in the budget, $697 a month. It's just not reality. I will be demanding, I will be standing for the obvious that you will make your own, right, adjustment. Your resonance will be such a clear sound, such a melody that you'll be exchanging what you do for much more than that. That's the point. And Colleen, why don't you tell them, we're going to call LeAnn up here in a second, who's like one of my favorite people. I was so excited when she was like, I'm coming on, because she's smiling in her cute pink sweater. But before we do, Colleen, tell them what you were saying to me about how people are like, I got it. And now I'll just go back and like somehow, without being held in the energy of it, I'll be able to do it. But it doesn't work that way because we have to feel the resonance of it. It's literally like tuning your instrument to the instrument that's tuned, right? Yeah. And going through a process where we repeat it so we don't fall back into this like, right? I mean, that's why people are consistent with habits of meditation and breath work. And it's not just like, it's every day, because what will be there, you can bet on it, every day is everything that happened yesterday. Everything you thought, everything you felt, and everything that happened will happen again. You'll notice the same kinds of things will bounce back. The same kinds of opportunities, the same kinds of drama. Every day you'll go, it's just a different place, same day, different channel. Colleen, what did you want to say about that before we bring on LeAnn?
I think it's just really, really important that we understand it takes time for us to shift, right? And so, and it might sound weird because you might be like, no, but I can already feel the shift. Like I've been here and I've been in this energy. And it's like, yes, and you want to maintain it, right? We don't want to like just slide back down the slope backwards. We want to like go beyond, right? And the only way that we can do that is when we are continually calibrating, right? It takes time to form new habits, whether they're mental habits, whether they're habits in terms of how you're taking action. It doesn't matter what they are, habits around how you're feeling as you're moving through the day, all of it, it's all interconnected. But reprogramming that and changing it, not only do you need to stay in a container to make that happen, we've also got to learn really powerful ways that you work with the exact things Cathy just said. How do we unpack, reveal, uncover those beliefs that are driving everything? How do we release them and let them go? How do we shift those thought patterns, pick new ones, releasing them? How do we embrace actually starting to feel better and practicing that all the time? And when we do show up and take action, what's the best kind of action? There's so much information out there. And sometimes part of the problem is we're just picking pieces of a puzzle and we don't have all the puzzle pieces in the box. We need all the pieces in this beautiful space where you can actually put it all together. And that's what we do in this program. And that's why, you know, you'll see lots of alumni that keep coming back. And it's like, yeah, because what Cathy does is so magical and so powerful that you just continue to up level because there's no limit to where we can all rise.
No, and like you said, Colleen, there's so much out there that you're like, clearly, I mean, look at our society. We're like, it's fine to eat corn syrup, right? It's everywhere. Even when I go to buy tires for my car, there's Doritos right before I leave. Like everything's an option. So it's like, in order for me to build a business, I'd have to first learn how to spend $100 grand on Facebook ads, which I don't. I'd have to build a list. Oh my God. You can decide that that's how it has to happen. And you can then run a race with a lot of people who are running that race. Or you can just go, see how that line's very busy? We're not going to take the 405. We're going to take this other street and we'll get there a lot faster, right? Let's do it organically. Let's do it with resonance. Let's not use marketing because it doesn't work. It's a lot of, right? Let's just like move. And let's move in a way where people go, who is that? What was that? What just happened? And then you're like, oh, nothing. It was just me. I get animated about it because I remember taking my husband with me to see a cardiologist in LA because I had something that I needed to figure out. And I happened to ask my cardiologist something about my husband because my husband's dad, I never met him. He died when my husband was 13. He had heart issues. And I was talking to the doctor about my husband and asking him some questions that maybe could be helpful and preventative, right? Because his dad died at 50, which is like, my husband's 48. And he asked me some questions like, okay, that's very serious. Is your husband a vegan? Does your husband meditate? Does he walk every day? Does he do cardio? Does he take statins? Like just trying to figure out like, okay, what are the things? And I answered no to all these things. And the doctor, who is like one of the best doctors in Beverly Hills, who was referred to us by a really good doctor, said, I refuse to see either of you unless there's a promise, because I care about saving lives. And his father dying at the age of 50, and you just told me his grandfather, it's a walking death sentence. So we need to wake up. We need to have a different behavior, right? And this guy was amazing. And he kept calling me and he was like, I'm impatient. I'm upset. Like, I'm not gonna, I need him to come in. And so I brought him in. My husband was really upset. He like started to cry and he was like, I'm not letting you walk out of this office, right? Because I see it and we're going to change it. And it's done. It's done. Like, you're not having another hamburger. Like, it's not happening. There's no more donuts. There's no more. It's done. He's screaming at him. He was like, this is called love. This is called, I want to see you here. I want you to bring your grandkids here. Yeah, that's what I want to see. And I'm over it. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and I've lived this. Colleen has lived this. I've watched it. I've seen Gail. I've seen Gail over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I can't just be like, it's casual. It's casual. It's casual. It's casual. It's like lives are at stake. People walking around just in this pit of darkness, sadness, right? You guys don't know this part of my story, but when I was a kid growing up, and some of you know it because I've talked about it on my show, but my mom was going through a lot of mental health stuff and she tried to commit suicide and I called an ambulance and all of that stuff. And so that's been a very big part of my life. And I've had a lot of friends in my life who've gone through those kinds of things. And I can see, I can see how many days of a certain kind of thought, many days of a certain kind of feedback, many days of a certain kind of feeling start to lead to a certain kind of life, to a certain kind of feeling of reality, to a certain kind of place. And Deepak Chopra and I talked about that last Friday, about how he said it's the number 2 cause of death in teenagers. He's like, that's not actual, meaning they're not genetically supposed to have that happen. That's something where we are off. And he's such a big fan of understanding who we are, what reality is, meditating, truly tapping in to the wealth of power and potential and beauty and energy that lives inside of us. It's like the wick is there. We just have to, the pilot light is actually always on, just have to turn up the flame. So to me, it's like, this just is, it just has to be. And at some point, people just get tired enough that they're like, that's it. Like, I have to switch it. I have to change it. And so this is available. And by the end of this call, we are going to come up with something to offer you guys, because the price is now full price, which feels so good. I'm so happy about that. I'm so excited for that, because that does more for you guys than you even think. When you're like, look at that girl just being where she's actually at, like, boom, like, that's good. That's actually a beautiful thing. I can raise you from that place even more. And some of you are going to be like, oh, damn it, she said she was, but then did she really? And it's like, yeah, we will, we do, we said we were. It is what it is. So we will have something that you still can't get it for what it was, because it's no longer what it was, it's what it is. But we'll have something so that you can get something a little bit better, if that makes you feel a little bit better. How are you guys feeling about this whole conversation that we've been having over the last 40 minutes? What starts to move for you? Yeah, I said to you at the beginning of the workshop, I promise that you won't talk yourself out of your potential just for this time. How easily do we go, can I do it now, please? Okay, I held that for a while, but I can talk myself out of it now, right? Okay, thank God. Thank God I could talk myself out of my potential now. Whew. Yeah. If you would have told me 10 years ago that my husband would be able to retire, some of you were saying in the chat, like, I want to make $200,000 a month, 500 or a year, $500,000. It's like, I make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and that's not even a big deal. It's just what is. It's like, it's unbelievable. Like, it exists, and it's nothing compared to all of my peer group and my friends. It's like, we're just like in an echo chamber, like, of course, and it could be more. And now what are you doing with that? And how are you helping other people with that? And what philanthropies are you excited about? And it's just like, it's just a decision to like just turn to a different station and have the courage to just show up in your potential. And you're just like, oh, there were people waiting for me to just, there were actually people at that higher rate, right? My friend Jerisha Hawk, who's going to teach in the Made for Millions bundle, she posted something that said $500 client, I want to know that this is for sure going to give me results before I sign up, blah, 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 blah. Please let me know more. I'm really worried about this. And can you explain that? And she writes, $50,000 client, money sent. Thanks so much. The person's there for you. Like, it's so much easier to actually not why. Because when you lower your price, when you reduce your frequency, when you're in a different sort of place and you're attracting that, that means you're going to call forward people who are in resistance, okay? People who are in a reality that they even found you and they're contemplating that. And they're going to just be like bumping up against it and needing a whole lot more from you to convince, to support. You change, right? You change, like you call out a different call to a different kind of person with a different number, with a different energy, with a different branding. And the person goes, oh, what's that? Oh, here's the check. Done. Right? That's available. That's available. I'm going to keep on saying it. And some of you are going to join in this trance until it's just the truth. You just walk differently. You just feel it differently. All right, LeAnn, it's your turn. Tell us about you. Tell us about what you've been up to, because it's very, very inspiring.
Cathy, you're on fire today. I'm just like, oh my gosh, the bird call. I'm just, thank you so much for having me. I can't even, like, when you get into this program, like, you just kind of picture one day, like, oh gosh, if I would ever get to talk to Cathy, and it's, to get the email, it's just like, oh my God, yes.
We've had a hot seat before. We've gotten into it.
We have, and that changed everything. So I definitely want to talk about that. But
I want to talk about that.
I could, when I first got the email, I was like, oh, I need to say this and that, and then just what you learn from being in the community and watching the challenge.
You got to tell them, LeAnn, because they tell them the story, because they have to hear it, because they've been seeing, the whole world has been seeing evidence of what isn't and what doesn't. And you are another example of a person with integrity and beauty who was just like, and we're changing the channel, and boom. Yeah. So tell them about the channel change.
Okay, so I have to start when my paths crossed with you. I heard you on the Sherry and Nancy show, and then came over to Cathy Heller World, and I just thought it was so funny because I was so drawn to you, and then to find out your backstory, that you're a songwriter. And so you guys, I live in Nashville, and some of my songwriter friends are on here today. But that's my whole world. I've been doing this for 25 years, but I had jumped off into a management company, which means I would commission live shows. So I intersect with Cathy in 2020 when live shows disappear. And I was sitting here going, oh my gosh, I just started my own company, and now there's like nothing but. And I just want to point out the price for the workshop. Like, I was looking at absolutely no income. And so even, in 2020, I was like, oh my gosh, and I was one of the people that bought it at 11:57 p.m. before the whole thing closed. So I was the full price girl. And without a doubt, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to cry. There is no way I would have my business right now if I hadn't bought that class. And you guys, I know, like I said, I have friends on here that know I've been doing this for 25 years, like working with songwriters. But what this helped me do, like, everything was wiped clean. It's like, I had to figure out what was it exactly that I loved and I thought I brought to it. And my first instinct when the pandemic hit was like, I was going to meet with songwriters for free. So I didn't know like what my instinct was. And so I start your course and I'm learning how to put all this stuff together. Like I have, actually have 2 notebooks now, but this is full of like all my made to do this stuff. And when I go back to it a lot, but I just started learning all this stuff. And during the course, I was already meeting with all these people for free. And I was like, okay, well, I want to do this. I can make a workshop. And Cathy's shown, and just the very presence of being on this class, like you come on Cathy's class and you're like, oh my God, there's a million people on here. Like this is a thing, So just that was like, okay, this is not something I've ever known or thought about before, but this can happen. So I put out my first offer, and I had gone to West Tennessee to take my mom to doctor's appointments. I was so worried it was COVID. My mom has breathing issues. And so we were like covered up and like sitting in this doctor's office in Memphis. And my first sale came through and it was $297. And I mean, I've had big jobs, you know what I mean? I've worked for corporations. I get a check on the 1st and 15th, and that always felt good to me. But when I saw that freaking $297 and thought, I didn't mean to come on and just bawl like a bit. I didn't, for my friends that are on here, I'm so sorry. But this is how much it means to me. I just was like that, on day 2 of your challenge last week, where you said, I want to get paid for being me. And I saw that sale and I was like, oh my gosh, people want to come hang out with me and hear what I know about this and breathe into the, like, I was just, it was the most fun $297 I ever made. So I started that, you start your first thing. You don't know, like my Zoom camera looked shitty. My first guest was a legendary songwriter and one of my favorite people. And he was like this the whole time. It was just, I had another call where the internet went out and I had a hot flash in the middle of it, trying to get back up on the phone or whatever. And people were just sitting there, but you work through all of that stuff. And then you figure out, well, okay, I did that workshop over 3 months, 2 weeks apart. The momentum didn't seem right. So let me make this next offer and make it consecutive and maybe make it 5 weeks. And maybe I'll raise the price $50 because I am definitely the person that you're talking to on this call today who, I'm so timid about stuff. Like the whole reason I got into music in the first place is because some teacher called my mother and said, is LeAnn okay at school? Because she doesn't talk to anybody. I was just really, really shy. My mom put me in voice lessons at 9 years old. And so I just grew up in a town where like, you're not really supposed to shine or you're not supposed to be like stuck up or uppity or any of that. So I just did all my stuff in another town because I didn't want to like show off or whatever in my town, which probably would have been fine, but it's just the weird mindset that you're going to help us all with in this next thing. And by the way, I did sign up. I'm so excited. I have a story about that too. But okay, so I reiterated, Cathy will teach you, get feedback from people. Novel concept, ask them what they like. What did they get the result? Did they like a little more of this? Did they like one-on-one time more? So you start honing in on your thing. I went into 2021 with another workshop, raised the price a little bit because I don't want to, have anyone upset with me. And then I did 3 workshops at that same price. And I thought, this is good. Well, then I was like, I need more of Cathy. So I joined the Lighthouse Collective, which is now lit. So you guys are going to get 2 things of lit. It's kind of a mastermind. It's so fun. So I got in that and I got a hot seat with Cathy. and I came on and I had my numbers ready. I was like, listen, I'm doing a thing called the Songwriter Summit. I'm doing the workshops. I'm doing private sessions. I've even gotten speaking gigs out of this. I'm here. I made this over here, this over here, this over here. I've getting the feedback. Everybody's getting the result, but my classes are not growing. Like it's consistently like 15 people, 15 people, 15. And you said to me, Cathy, well, two things. One, you said you haven't done a proper launch. You're not, like, I was just like putting it out there, expecting people to like find it, like to work for, like you say, you know, nobody's, what is it, 3% of your followers see your post or whatever. They're not seeing what you have to show up. And I was doing like, oh, I did one live when I offered it that last time. I did one. What, and I just got 15 people. And you're like, you're not doing a launch. Like you have to launch. And a launch, you guys, is what you guys have all been doing the last week and this week. You're learning, but you're getting a sense of who Cathy is, and you're just soaking, you're like porous, and you're soaking this up to know, like, yes, I want more of that. So I was being so timid about it. And that was all like this mindset stuff. But you said to me, why are you not stepping into this? You said it's like there's a siren going off over here, and it's calling you like this. Every time you speak, you get somebody, you get this, and this. There's a siren going. Show up for these people. Tell them you're out here. And when you said that, there was literally a siren that I could hear outside the window. And I was just like, tears. Like, what is it? Why are you not stepping into this? So I'm saying that to say, like, the mindset part of this, like for people that aren't comfortable with that, I need that every day. Like I need to, because life is like a sine wave, and like you'll be like really high after this class, and then you might sink down a little bit. And then you need, like, the more you can show up and get more of this is going to help you. So it's like, you're aligning with serving people and stepping into it. And if you don't show up, like if I don't show up in my workshops as someone who's confident about what I'm gonna teach people or share with people, or, you know, even I had a workshop on Monday, and I was just trying to tell people how much like the creative process replenishes me, and how even though I had all this stuff to do, I stopped and painted hearts for Valentine's Day on these cards. And I'm like, I just like got it. I had to do it, you know, to like fill me up so that I could come into the class replenished and all of that. And so
tell them what happened after you launched, because it's pretty amazing.
So after I launched, I turned into Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, because I had my whole wall over here, which has a painting on it. My whole wall had like Post-its everywhere. And I was like, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, do this, do that, you know, open heart. I had stickers everywhere. I was just like, and it was a lot of fun to put up, and I posted about it in our lit group. That's another thing, like you just get so much inspiration from the community. Is so like, yes, go, you know. So I did the boot camp. I called it a boot camp. So just to remind, I had 15 people consistently in the boot camp. 86 people showed up. So all the people that were kind of wondering, like, showed up for the boot camp. And I raised my price and added private sessions and extended the weeks, because it felt so good to me. Like I wanted to do that. And you know what's so funny? By raising my price, I was so much, I can't, like, there was a different level of commitment. And I wanted to like deposit into each person. So I raised my price to $1,500. And we have 20 people in the workshop. And I just will point out on that, I committed to just launching, and the Monday after the boot camp, I actually had surgery. So I thought, oh, I'll be right back the next day. And I was on painkillers, so I wasn't in, you know, I didn't even do, I missed a couple of days in the launch because of that, and still got people because of the energy, because of the deposits. And now, like you say, 86 people got a taste of it, and they're probably going to come back to the next launch and figure that out. So it's just a constant building. But the point to that one launch is that, just personally, because I mean, we're all interested in creating a better life financially as well. I made more in that launch than I had made in the previous 3 workshops altogether. I made more in the one launch. And so it just fired me up. And right after I did it, I was like, I want to launch something else, because I want to go through the process again and just like, you know, do it. And I want to say, you know, just Monday, oh, sorry, that was the Monday before this, there was a guy on my workshop that, you know, that song Fancy Like, you've heard it on Applebee's. He was a co-writer on Fancy Like. He's the greatest guy. His name is Josh Jenkins. He was the lead singer for Green River Ordinance, and he's a songwriter, family man, just a beautiful person. And he said, he was talking about all of this and his process. He said, I put it this way. He said, every day I position myself to catch magic. I position myself to catch magic. And I was just like, that works for all of us, you know? And I just loved that so much. And I want you to know, when I was watching on Monday, and Miss Gail was talking, and Carly, and it got me so fired up. And I was sitting there, just, it's like being in that higher vibration. I got a text message during that call from one of the, in Nashville, one of the heads of the one of the top 4 publishing companies. And he emailed me and he said, hey, do you have a contact for someone at Onsite? Because I want to prepay a month's worth of sessions for my songwriters. And I'm on this call with you, you know, and I said, I was like, I do have a contact. Here's the contact. However, I've been doing this work for 2 years now, and I would love to talk to you. And I didn't hear back right away. I mean, like that, you know, the boom, boom, boom. And then so I said, could you Zoom this week? And he wrote back, I'm going with you. I can Zoom Wednesday at 2. So when I get off this, I'm getting on a Zoom with him. And I'm just saying, like, you have to be around this vibration, because it's like you need all the help you can get to stay up here. And you guys may look at me and go, oh, she, you know, like you're saying, like, she's been in the music business for 25 years. She already has the clients. I cannot tell you how scary it was for me to like do something different. And I was in my head about, what's this person thinking? What's this person? People aren't supposed to charge for this. I used to get paid to meet with people by some other corporation. And I decided to do it for myself, because that's what I love to do. And I can see it helping, like, every creative person needs that encouragement. That things don't change until you get that. And I got that at about 11 years old as a singer, because I had to walk out on a stage. You know, I was in those lessons because I wouldn't talk. And so I was even more shy taking the lessons, but I walked out on the stage when the other two sopranos did not show up for the dress rehearsal, and I adjusted the microphone for the first time to my voice, like you've seen people do it, and I did it, and we did our song. And then where there would be playoff music, the music stopped, and my teacher called my name, who I was like scared of but wanted approval from. He goes, "LeAnn Phelan, I heard every note to the soprano part." And then he played the music, and then the kids ran off, and people were like, "What happened? What happened?" And like, I got that encouragement. And then that was it. Like I did music the whole time after that. And that's what I want to give back to people. That's what you do for everybody. That's what Colleen does for everybody. So
and you are, and so it is. And so you guys, in case you don't have a calculator in your mind as quickly as like I don't, I use a calculator. So 20 people bought this $1,500 workshop from her. That's $30,000 in just that she's going to deliver over a few months, right? Now she's going to get better. She's going to, what we practice, we get better at, right? You get better at French kissing. You get better at driving. You get better at being a mom. You get better at everything, right? So, and some of you were like, what's launching? So we teach you how to launch, right? I actually think, sometimes you just kind of know, like I know that I'm 5'8", right? And I know that I have freckles, and I also know I launch better than anybody. It's just a fact. I launch better than anybody. I know that because of how it feels. My friends are like, "Don't talk to me, I'm launching." It's like, you can't talk to them for weeks. They've got, their throat is killing them. Their husbands are like, "I know when she's launching, I have to like go to a different hotel. I can't be around." It's like, I know because of that. And I also know because of the results. We just get different results than everybody else. So I wind up coaching my friends, right? She mentioned that she heard me because of Sherry and Nancy's show. Sherry, she means Sherry Salata, who was the executive producer of Oprah, who also was the president of OWN, right? And the president of Harpo. I taught Sherry how to launch. Like I sat with Sherry and launched with her. And so I'm like the launch master. Like that's kind of my thing. It's just part of what I do. So that's where LeAnn's like, "Oh my God." And then you just don't even know, because you're so married to a certain reality. Like you just don't even know what you don't know, right? So we teach you exactly what you just were going through. And like LeAnn said, I said to her on that hot seat, I'm like, "Oh my God, like, why are you so resistant to being more visible and showing up more?" And we just pushed a different door open, right? We just like moved over here. And then we do the steps. And I have said to you, and I'm going to say it again, 98% of it's the energy, 2% is the steps, but you need the steps. Like this microphone that's sitting here is definitely less than 2% of what makes me have a top 8 podcast on Apple. We could all agree. But if I don't have this mic and it's not plugged in, and I don't record it and upload it and edit the show so that it has a level of professionalism, I don't have a show. So I say to people, when you want to achieve a goal, right? Because you want to have a $30,000 launch. You want to have a $300,000 launch. You want to have $1 million year, an $8 million year, whatever you want. It's done. It's there. Just like if you want to lose weight, I'd be like, great, it exists. There's evidence everywhere that you can. And what will you do every day, right? Because if you eat the way you've been eating and you keep drinking alcohol the way you've been drinking it, you don't get your steps in, you won't lose the weight. It's impossible. I don't care how your mindset changes. Your mindset is 98% of it. Right? We're going to get you to believe in a different identity. And then I need you to drink water every day. I need you to get moving, right? And that's going to be probably 2%, but it's a really important 2%, right? And then it's going to reinforce your identity and your belief in who you are and what's possible. You start feeling good, you start feeling sexy, and then you're going to do it again, better, more. I could walk even more today, right? All that goes together. So when it comes to this, it's both. It's like what LeAnn was saying is like 98% of this is like, I gotta move the energy, right? We gotta make that energy rise. And then I'm gonna say, okay, launching isn't just like, well, Cathy, I went live. It's like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't just go live. These are human beings. We have to practice radical empathy. They're busy. They're oversaturated. There's a million things going on. You've got to give them. You've got to deposit. You've got to make a mark in their life, no matter what. Do you see what Coca-Cola does to remain where they are? Do you see what Google does? Do you understand the method to the madness? They don't just go, not interested. No, they are interested. They're studying you. Do you know why Netflix and Amazon dominate, right? They're constantly looking at that feedback. Like LeAnn was saying, what is she looking at? What is she not looking at? Forget it. They didn't like season 3. Over. Don't even make it anymore. It's over. They're not interested. It's over, right? Great, right? They're studying it. And then they're going to analyze it. And then they're going to test something else. And then when they test something else, they're not just going to put it up there. They're going to do a whole song and dance to bring you into the energy of it and to educate and to inform and to love up on you until you go, what is this Ted Lasso thing that's everywhere? Maybe I should look at the morning show because it's been everywhere. I didn't actually like season 2, but that's okay. It's a separate point. It's a separate point because I can watch Jennifer Aniston's hair all day long and just look at her hair. I'm filled up with that. So, LeAnn, it's incredible. And your tears, to see you, who deserves it more than this sweet, beautiful girl sitting in front of me? Who? Tell me who. I want to see that person. You're doing it. And I want to see that by the end of this program, we raise that price. And people will say, but I mean, she has this. It's like, do you know the population of songwriters? Just look at the demographic. Are they known to be rich? Struggling songwriters in Nashville who were taking her class, who want to take her class, not the fancy people who come on to speak. I'm talking about the people who are bartending, right? Jason Mraz was on my show. He was like, yeah, I was working at a coffee house, wasn't making money, but boy, was I happy, right? And then it led to what it led to. But he wasn't, no one says, struggling songwriters are raking in the dough. That's why she made $30,000 because songwriters have money. Everyone knows that. No, they don't. They don't. And it doesn't matter. Because what did Gail say yesterday? Monday, when you want to do something, you'll find the time, you'll find the money because it exists. That's how you'll find it because it's already there. LeAnn, you're gorgeous. You're amazing. I want to see that launch grow to $300,000. We're doing that.
Let's go, Cathy.
Are you in?
I'm in.
Can we make that happen in the next 90 days?
I would like to do 5.
Great.
Yeah.
So it is.
I'm in. Thank you so much again. This was
what do you want to, what's your take home message? What's your last sort of for today? What's the point you want to leave in people's hearts today?
That is so easy for me because another one of my mentors, this songwriter, of course, Kai Fleming, who is in the Hall of Fame, all these awards when, not many women are in the Hall of Fame in songwriting here in Nashville. But she told me that she said, I kept doing what I love and the path before me kept lighting up.
Wow. I love that.
So that is what I tell all my songwriter students. That's what I am trying to do. I feel like I'm doing that. And I feel like that's what this class is. So that's my parting advice from the wonderful Kai Fleming.
Oh my God, I love it. It's so beautiful. Thank you, LeAnn. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
You're so generous and I love you so much. I wish I could hug you right now. We'll make that hug happen too this year. We'll make that hug happen.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, ladies.
Love LeAnn. She's the best. How good do you feel? Oh, so we both removed her spotlight and then she's like, here I am. We'll just keep LeAnn in the spotlight forever so she can feel even more self-conscious. How fun is it, Colleen, to listen to these stories? And I mean, we have so many. I see Janine here, and I'm like, I want Janine to come up another day. We gotta have her on here. There's just so many of these incredible stories. I'm just, yeah.
It's beautiful.
And I feel like we live in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. That's honestly how I feel. We go to everyone's like, they come through these launches and then they're like, only a small, group is the group that actually joins it. And then they come in and a few weeks later, they're like, I can't believe I even considered not being in this. It's literally like oxygen and everything's different all of a sudden. And you and I, we see this all the time. It's like lollipops and gumdrops and lick of the wallpaper. It's a lickable, like you can taste it. A snozberry. What's a snozberry? It's like, it's all there. We're just like having the best time, and everybody, and so it is. The energy is amazing.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And it's every single one of these women had a different path they walked before they came into Cathy's world. And they're all walking different paths now that are so beautiful and so vibrant, and I can't help but keep commenting on these women. You can see it and feel it is their energy and their light. And that is what we help you turn back on. Well, we also give you all of the practical and tangible steps and how you go and execute and email and set up your systems and all of that. You get it all, but that gift of yourself coming to life is just beyond.
It's beyond. Yeah. And the way in which we've watched, especially because it's mostly women, just turn the lights on, like just seeing people who all of a sudden I'm like, so go do that and charge this for it. And then when we show you what inspired action to do and you're feeling lit up, it just works. And then you go, oh, it's not crazy. She doesn't just have me the next day be like, here, now I have to sell myself. It's like, we never do that. There's a method to the madness. And then you realize, wait, where was the sale? Oh, I didn't have to sell. You show up and you share and you're generous and you give and you hold space. And there's ways in which no matter what it is that you want to do, if you're teaching ballet, if you're making hand lettered goods, if you are teaching classes on Japanese hand lettering, if you are teaching people how to organize, if you are creating a retreat, it's amazing how we can show you, okay, so here, this is what you would create that you give away. And then people will raise their hand for that. And then you're going to do this right after that so that you cement it again. And then people will just raise their hand and say, whatever this was, please, sir, can I have some more? And it's done. You don't have to go pushing. You don't have to send people down a funnel with the fancy, like, I guarantee this will change your life. Shut up. Like, who talks like that? Like, no, like that's not life. You don't have to do that. Should we take any questions? And Colleen and I are going to give you something before we leave here. Colleen, check your Voxer. Okay. She knows. So does anyone, and by the way, there was a lot of questions about launching. I could talk about launching till my face fell off. Do you have any questions about launching? Because I've been launching since I was pregnant with my third daughter, and it is done. It's like every time we launch, it's multiples of 7 figures. And it doesn't matter. I've launched music programs, retreats, events, podcasting courses, accelerators, all kinds of things. It doesn't matter who the audience is, and it doesn't matter what the content is. It's the way in which you launch. So if you have any questions about launching, you can ask. This is your time. We've got today and tomorrow. The doors will close on Friday. And then we will begin on Monday. And by the way, you're also getting Made for Millions, which is a separate program, which is $19.97, which that'll be separately sold. You're getting that also. So what LeAnn had before, right, was 12 weeks of Made to Do This. We rolled that into this program. Then we added all of the sort of the mind and body, the energy, sort of changing that so that we can drill down on that to then begin the business journey. And then on top of it, you're getting this $2,000 program with all of these incredible entrepreneurs, right? These are women who have made hundreds of millions of dollars or multi-millions of dollars, right? Who are lovely human beings. And there's a pitch panel on every single call. In addition, what LeAnn was referring to, you also get 2 months of my Lit Up membership. You get that too. Plus the podcasting stuff is rolled into this program. So you're basically getting 3 programs plus a membership for this cost, which is why it costs what it costs. Let me look and see if there's any questions. Do you always launch with a 5-day challenge? Yes. You make launching seem like a party? Yeah, it is a party. It's so fun. It should feel good. I have I have friends in my life who memorize things, and they're like, it's so stressful, and that's why I hate launching, and that's why I hate doing this. And I'm like, why would you do it that way? Like, are you a robot? You don't need to memorize anything. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They want to feel something. They want to connect. They want a little bit of vulnerability. They want a lot of your energy. They want you, right? They don't want, I'll tell you is one thing. Deborah Rogers, who is also in our program, who is lovely. She was one of the creators of Lilo and Stitch, and she's done a bunch of other things. And she posted something so beautiful, by the way, which I obviously didn't tell her to do. And she said to me, because she's been a screenwriter for so many years, she said, guys, you're going to love this one. She said, do you know how you can guarantee that people will hate a character in a movie? And what do you think the answer is? How can you guarantee people are hated? Yeah, some of you maybe heard me say this. She goes, you make them perfect. Boom, mic drop. That's good. That's good. That is so good. She's like, think of any character that we've all loved. Why do we love them? We see ourselves in them, right? Batman, remember he has like his own little quirks, right? Like think of any hero, any character, any movie, and you're like, oh yeah, she's a little bit like, she's disorganized, or she's messy, or she's always late, or she puts her foot in her mouth, or she, is hard on herself, or. And then here comes my students who are like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's got to be perfect. And I'm like, kiss of death, kiss of death. No one wants it. Stop, turn around, rewind, pull back, And then I'm like, just do this. And they're like, well, that just feels like easy, but like, I won't be enough because it won't be perfect. And I'm like, that's why it will work. Right? That's why it will work. If I came on here and I was like, perfect, everything perfect, right? And then I was like, okay, everyone has their packets. Are we ready? Step one. Ba, 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 ba. Take a breath. Step two. Now I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at the slides. Are you ready? Here we go. You would not be sitting here right now. You'd be like, get me out of here. Colleen, do you want to announce this?
Yeah, I will. I do just want to say one thing first. And I see it comes up for lots of students who come to the program. You don't have to know your thing. You don't have to feel like you're aware of what these gifts might be when you're coming into this program. There's so many people who come in and they're like, I don't know. I just know it must be in there somewhere. And
what about the people who come in, Colleen, who are like, I know exactly what it is. Move out of my way. And week 7, they're like, I changed it. I see something totally different. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Just you best believe you don't know what your thing is. Convince me that you know. You'd be like, well, up until this point, the way I think and the way I live and the way I've received the world, I've decided that what I do is this. And I'm like, let me get my hands on you. That's not what you do.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like nobody really knows, because when you've been asleep, looking at the bottom of your shoe, taking gum off your shoe most of your life, because that's all that exists, you don't know your thing. You're gonna know it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna wake it all up. And then you're gonna go, ooh, I think this is actually my thing. I just didn't know how to let it come out. And now I do. Remember Hillary was like, she came into the program and her 9-year-old daughter remember her daughter was like saying, because she was watching the workshop and she really wanted to do it. And she's like, I can't do it. And then her daughter was like, Mommy, you've been so happy this whole week. You have to find a way. You have to do this workshop. And she did the workshop and she thought she was going to do something with horses because she like works with horses. The woman wound up making $13,000 during the workshop, working with people on their Akashic records. You guys, she's like, I just was like, oh, right. I could do that all day long. I'm really good at that. but would people pay me? But and that, like, all that went away. And then she started, what did she do? She offered it for free to a few people. Does anyone want this? Anyone care? People were like, I want it. I want a reading. I want a reading. Next thing she knew, she's like, anyone want to pay for it? Oh my God. She was like, Cathy, I was booked. And the rest is history. Like, it's anything. As long as it's aligned, you're done. You walk in the room, the sea splits.
Yeah.
We're just not aligned.
Okay, so we do have an exciting announcement, and we're going to give you a coupon code. Yay! So you can take $2,000 off the program, and the special code is expansion. So all lowercase letters. I will add it into the chat as well. And thanks, Steph. There we go. And we'll give you the page. It's magical. It really is Willy Wonka's factory, you guys. It really is this just other world, and you'll walk in the doors and your head will just like end day after day after day what there is to explore and taste and experience. It's just, it's beyond it. There is another world. It's like Free Guy. Who's watched Free Guy? I have a thing for Ryan Reynolds. And
you two would be the cutest couple. OMG. You would have
it's like my little fantasy, right? Yeah. So anything he's in, I always watch it. And
so cute.
But it's like, what do? They live Groundhog Day in Free Guy. And it's this very unfulfilling world that they live in until they realize there's this whole other world out there that's possible for us, and we can wake ourselves up and we can go step into it. And
can I just say something on the hotness? Because like it is so fun to just talk about the heat, the gorgeous men in the world. It's just so fun. So speaking of that, okay, you guys, this is what's so insane. Forget the fact that I was able to just like decide I was going to make millions of dollars. It's so fun. It really is so fun. I guess that I decided that I would be a match for the energy of literally the men that I've had a crush on my whole life. And so it was. And so let's see who's come on my podcast. Are you ready? Rob Lowe, Matthew McConaughey, Harry Connick freaking Jr. And this is what I'm going to tell you. That's my whole list. Those three guys. That was my whole list. Harry Connick was actually my number one person. Have you seen Hope Floats? Have you seen Hope Floats? Let's ask it differently. When was the last time you saw it? Because if it's been more than a year, you need to watch the movie because he is so hot. And then it's like, oh, P.S. this man sings like you can't even imagine. He slays. So he's my number one. But then sort of like if I had to have like an alternate, I've kind of been obsessed with the Property Brothers because when I was going through fertility treatment, that's all they would play in the offices because I guess that was like a kind of it's a light thing to watch when you're in the middle of like that kind of journey. And I just kind of got obsessed with them. And then they came on the show. So I'm kind of like, what? Do you understand? Like I spent an hour and a half with each of those guys, just like, and then I could even show it to you. I have to find it. I could probably find it. Then Rob Lowe texted me and said, I had the best time with you. And I just texted back skulls and crossbones. And I was just like, I died. I'm dead now. I'm dead. And that's all that happened is I just died. I died. That's all. And then we were supposed to get off with Matthew. We're on a first name basis, NBD. We were supposed to get off at an hour. His publicist was like, he has an hour. He has an hour. I was like, I got it. You're yelling. It's fine. You can calm down. And then at the hour, he was like, can you push back whatever? Anyway, so I was on with him for almost 2 hours and my producer's on the call, like watching, and I'm texting her like, Emma, what is happening right now? Why? We were just hanging out. We were just hanging out and talking. And I was like dead. I mean, can I tell you what I said to him? We get on and I said, can I just put this out? I go, you're the hottest person in the world. Okay, now let's start. And with Rob Lowe, I was like, give me 1 second. You're so hot. You're so hot. You are so hot. Holy shit. And then I was like, okay, it's out. It's been said. And he was dying. He's like, I can't believe you're so cute. I was like, come on, we're both thinking that I'm thinking it. So let me just say it. And then we can move on with our freaking life. And he died. He died. It's a lot of dying. And then being reborn. So it's like, people are like, I don't know how I can make it. It's like, not only can you print as much money as you want, but you'll just turn your energy on till you're literally a resonant match for the freaking people that you're like, yeah, no, that's who I want to hang out with. And then they'll come to you and they'll write in and say, can I be on the podcast? Can you put me on Cathy's calendar? And I'm like, is that an email? Am I reading an email with my eyes? What happened today? Why is that happening? Because I just raised my hand and went, hey, I'm actually here. Yeah, what's up? I'm here. Thank you so much. We're not raising our hand. And then people are like, let me tell you, I'm not raising my hand because I can't afford to raise my hand. I'm like, you can't afford to not raise your hand and you know it. So let's go. Okay. Colleen, do you see any other questions? I have to leave in 2 minutes. I've got to pick up my daughter from school. She gets really mad if daddy picks her up. She's like, promise you're picking me up. And she likes daddy, but she says he plays really bad music in the car, which he does. He was playing Rollin', Rollin', Rollin'. That's what he plays in the car. I'm playing like Justin Bieber, Meghan Trainor, Flo Rida. And they like need the good jams. I'm not joking. She's like, play different music. He doesn't get it. He's playing like 70s rock. What's the other question? Any questions that you see?
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh, Sarah's like, do you take snacks? Well, I usually take them directly from school to get a snack because the three of them are like ravenous when they come home. So
yeah, this is a really good question here. Mary says, is there anyone you haven't been able to help? Mary, the only people who can't be helped are the people who aren't ready to be helped. So it comes back to us. Do you know what I mean? Always. Again, it's like the light switch. It's like the path is here, the support is here, the love is here, and we do it for ourselves.
My favorite analogy for that, I don't know why I use this one, but my sister went to NYU. She went to Tisch, which is like known as like one of the best arts colleges, right? And it was so expensive. And my parents, it was so hard. And she was in something called Cap 21. So she was in it. It was 21 kids that year. It was her, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Melissa Joan Hart. There was 21 of them. And they sat them down on the first day and they were like, this is one of the best conservatories in the world. You will have the most incredible opportunities. You will have the most incredible teachers and all of those things will be here for you. And we guarantee you nothing. You decide what you're doing with this. You decide. They said NYU doesn't say, here's a printout of every person we've admitted, and here's the Oscar that they've all won. Because the answer is, what did you do with it? Where were you? And the rest is history. Okay. The rest is history. And she and I have had that conversation so many times about what she is available for and where she started. And it's like, what got in the way, right? Where was the resistance? We don't get what we want. We get what we are. And that's an inside job. It's an inside job. And it would be nice, wouldn't it? If you went to USC Law School or NYU and they were like, yeah, here's what happens. It's so magical. You give us $45,000 a year for 4 years, and it's guaranteed you're Martin Scorsese, you're Helen Hunt. It's done. People, it would be like, find the money. You know what I mean? Like, no, they are the best that there is. There is no better. Like, that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. That's it. Right. Colleen just took her son for an incredible gift. He had a week with Rick Macy, who was Serena and Venus's coach. Can you imagine him saying, every kid will be Serena Williams. You just watch. I do it for them. I make them that. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But there isn't anyone better. There just isn't. He's got that energy. He held those girls in that resonance. He pulled them up, right? He showed them like, okay, here's the energy of it. And here's also like, move your wrist. No, you didn't see it. Move it again. Back, take a step back, widen your stance, right? All that stuff's going to happen. And then they've got to allow it to happen, right? Because the resistance will be the only differentiator. That's it. Not how tall you are, not anything. It's not even like, how much are you like, it's like, how much are you going to stand for it? And how much resistance are you going to be in? Because you'll get back as much resistance as you are, period, end of story. So that's the answer. And it's phenomenal, you know, what has happened. And I think that what I do really well is there's something about, and these are just God-given gifts, right? There is something about my voice and how I say what I say that somehow that is the gift that it kind of like gets inside. Like my friends will say that to me. My friends who are successful, they'll be like, I've learned, talk to everyone. There's something about when you say it, I actually somehow, the resistance gets quiet and I do hear it differently. And it's the energy of it. I really don't come from ego much at all. And so I think what happens is you tune into that part of you that is an extension of God. And you don't have to try very hard there. And you're loved from that place. And you can do it messy from that place. And there's not a lot of, let's go. I need you to do all this stuff. And if you don't do it this way, and if you don't build your list, and if you don't see me in that spot. So it's easier to step in because what's required is actually allowing yourself to be you. So that's my method. I think there's a lot of people who have a lot of methods where there's just a certain amount that's required, right? And I hear it all the time. And I feel like those people are probably exhausted because to me, that doesn't really seem to work very much. Yeah. So we are going to get into so much of all of this. And I'm really excited for it. I'm going to pick up my daughter and then I'm interviewing Tig Notaro. Do you guys know who she is? She's a comedian. So I'm going to go do that. And tomorrow will be our last day doing this. And the doors will close on Friday. And so the price of the program is $697 a month. You would, in order to join, you would have to come up with $697 and then you'll find it and you'll be amazed. You'll wind up spending that money anyway, even though you don't think you will. But we just gave you a code, which I don't want you posting on Instagram. I don't want you, let me use this. But for the people in this challenge, because we're streaming it right now on Facebook, so they just heard it. You can use the code expansion, which will take $2,000 off, which makes that, what's the payment price then? The plan, it wouldn't be $697. It would be a couple $100 less approximately, right?
Yeah, I think about $530.
Yeah. So it's awesome for you to be able to do that. And we'll keep that up there till midnight so that you have it. And if you have any questions about anything, I mean, listen to what LeAnn just said. She's like, I was one of the people who walked into this program at the very, very end. And I think it worked out. So it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited. I love doing it. If you can't tell, it's a party. And I love you guys and I love our alumni. I see you, Lucinda. I see all of you guys. I love having you back. And how lucky for people who are new to this work to be around that energy of people who are like already in it, already further down this same road, right? It's going to be awesome. You can go to Abundant Ever After and use the code expansion. And Colleen, I just adore you to the max. I was with my good friends yesterday and Kate Northrup was like, but Colleen. And I was like, I know. She's like, I know, but Colleen's energy. And I was like, I know. And she's like, but I mean, oh my God. And I was like, I know. I tell her all the time. True story. Guys, have an amazing day. You're amazing.